Jack Carter grew up in a small town in Ohio. His family lived in a modest home on the edge of town. His father, Mike, worked 2 jobs, one at the local factory and another as a janitor at the high school, to make ends meet. His mother, Susan, was a kind-hearted woman who always encouraged Jack to do the right thing, no matter how hard life got. Jack was known in his neighborhood as the good boy, always helping neighbors mow their lawns or run errands. Despite their struggles, Jack loved his life. He dreamed of becoming a firefighter, inspired by the local fire chief, who always waved at him during parades. But one fateful winter changed everything. When Jack was 10, his mother became seriously ill during her second pregnancy. Susan was bedridden, and the family struggled even more than usual. Jack's father worked overtime, but the bills kept piling up, and the pantry grew emptier by the day. One evening, as Jack walked home from school in the freezing cold, he saw a bakery with warm bread displayed in the window. His stomach growled, and his thoughts turned to his mother, who hadn't eaten a proper meal in days. Without thinking, Jack slipped into the bakery, grabbed a loaf of bread, and ran as fast as he could. His heart pounded in his chest as he darted through alleys and back to his home. That night, as his mother ate the bread with tears in her eyes, Jack promised himself he would do anything to take care of his family. One fateful night, Jack and the Shadows planned to rob a wealthy businessman's house on the outskirts of town. The plan seemed foolproof. No alarms, no guards, and the house was empty. But as they rummaged through drawers and jewelry boxes, the sound of sirens pierced the air. The police arrived within minutes, catching Jack as he tried to climb out a window. His friends escaped, but Jack was handcuffed and taken to the station. He felt humiliated and terrified as he sat in the cold, gray holding cell. That's when he met Officer Henry Mitchell. Officer Mitchell was a grizzled but kind-hearted police officer who had seen countless young men like Jack pass through his station. But there was something different about Jack. His remorse was genuine. During their first conversation, Mitchell asked, "Why'd you do it, kid?" Jack hesitated before replying, "For my family. I didn't know what else to do." Mitchell saw potential in Jack. Instead of sending him straight to jail, he convinced the judge to send Jack to a juvenile rehabilitation program. There, Jack was given the chance to continue his education and learn life skills. At first, Jack resisted. He felt out of place in the rehab program, surrounded by strangers and strict schedules, but Mitchell didn't give up on him. He visited Jack regularly, bringing him books and sharing stories of his own struggles growing up in a tough neighborhood. Slowly, Jack began to change. He excelled in his studies, particularly in criminal justice. For the first time in years, he felt like he had a future. Mitchell became a mentor, teaching Jack that strength wasn't about taking, it was about giving back. After completing his rehabilitation program, Jack returned home a changed man. His mother, now recovering and proud of her 2 sons, welcomed him with open arms. Jack worked odd jobs to support his family while studying to become a police officer, inspired by Mitchell's unwavering belief in him. Jack faced many challenges at the police academy. Some cadets ridiculed him for his past, but he refused to let their judgment hold him back. He graduated at the top of his class, earning the respect of his peers and instructors. Jack joined the police force in his hometown, working alongside Officer Mitchell. He focused on helping troubled teens, ensuring they wouldn't fall into the same traps he had. He started a community outreach program, offering mentorship, free meals, and job training for underprivileged youth. One day, Jack revisited the bakery where he had stolen his first loaf of bread. He confessed his crime to the elderly owner, Mrs. Parker, and handed her an envelope of money to make amends. She smiled and said, "I knew it was you, Jack. I let you take it because I saw how much you cared for your mother. You've made me proud." Years later, Jack became the youngest police captain in the town's history. He had transformed from a scared boy stealing to survive into a protector of his community. At his promotion ceremony, his mother and brother stood proudly by his side, along with Officer Mitchell. In his speech, Jack said, "I've made mistakes, but I was given a second chance. I'm here to give others that same chance because everyone deserves the opportunity to rewrite their story." The story concludes with Jack walking the streets of his old neighborhood in his uniform, greeting the very people he once avoided. As he passes by the bakery, he sees a boy staring hungrily at the bread in the window. Instead of walking away, Jack enters the bakery and buys the boy a loaf, ensuring no one else has to take the path he once did.